Hello, hello. Andy, we got you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey. Thanks for everyone for joining us today. We're going to start officially in a minute or two. We're going to just wait for any stragglers here. I guess before we start, though, you'll see on your right-hand nav that you have the ability to chat and ask questions. I'm going to post a quick note in there right now so everyone can see what I just wrote. Feel free to write if you like. There we go. Hi, Chase.
It works.
It works. It definitely works.
And there's a questions as well, isn't there?
Yes, and there's the questions. So if you have questions throughout this this webinar, feel free to ask away. We had some pre-questions asked beforehand, so if you're shy, it's all good, and you have the ability to ask anything afterwards as well. So yeah, let's give it maybe 30 more seconds, and then we can get going here. But I think really high level, super excited on our side, having Andy here as well, and the ProspectSoft team. This is actually our first kind of official partner-centric webinar. So really happy that you're all here, and really excited that Andy was able to join us as part of this. Unlocking your B2B potential. Okay, Andy, you ready?
I'm good to go. As soon as you give me an amazing introduction, I'll be off.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say. My name's Mark. So I'm head of app and technology partnerships here at Katana, and we're really excited to have Andy, who's founder, CEO of ProspectSoft. And the biggest reason for having this session here today is, we're all kind of familiar with kind of how the importance of a CRM system and have some knowledge around it. But in terms of and around some of the big players, they're kind of in that sphere right now. But when it comes to the wholesale and distribution side and how to kind of leverage that impact of a CRM system and unlocking its potential, that's where Andy and the ProspectSoft team comes in. So super pumped, super excited to have Andy here to kind of go through it. And yeah, as mentioned before, feel free to use the chat, use questions. It's about 30 minutes or so to go through it. And then after which we'll leave some time to go through all the questions and comments that you guys might have. So without further ado, Andy, on to you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me here today, and thanks for the introduction. And I should also say thanks to my marketing team for continuing to use a really old photo where I've still got some hair. So that's me when I did have hair. A little bit less now, as you can see. So what are we here for? We're all here because we're running successful businesses that we want to be more successful, and that we want to grow and develop and be proud of the businesses that we're developing. So I'm not going to solve all of those challenges for you, but I'm going to take a bit of a look at some of the trends in B2B that are happening today, particularly for some of you who are thinking about B2B or doing a bit of a mixture of business to business and direct to consumer and looking to grow your B2B sales through kind of wholesale and distribution channels, or selling to retailers who then connect directly with your consumers. I think there are some things that are different in B2B. There are some things that are worth knowing. And if you're already in that space, then it's always useful to take a little bit of step back and rethink some of the strategy and what we're doing and make sure that we're doing it the best we can. And then I've got some specific tips for growing your wholesale business, whether you're just starting in the wholesale side or whether you're well into it. Hopefully those tips will be useful. And then we'll specifically look at where Prospect CRM fits and integrates with Katana, and where it can deliver some benefits for you, leveraging some of your Katana data. And then, as Mark said, we've got some Q&A time at the end. Okay, so what are some of the top trends in B2B today? The number one is actually direct-to-consumer brands adopting B2B as a kind of route to market and a route to expansion. And one thing that's particularly interesting is during the pandemic, that there was a big movement of B2B companies shifting to direct-to-consumer, and you can imagine the scenarios where that happened. You know, if your business was selling coffee to coffee shops, and all of those coffee shops closed down, and people started, staying at home, then you would fairly rapidly shift to trying to sell your coffee to your loyal customers who enjoyed your coffee, but selling them direct through a direct-to-consumer website, so they can brew their favorite coffee at home. What is interesting is that in the start of 2022, this came from a report from Barclays Bank, where they used some retail sales index information in the UK. And 2022 is the first time ever that the percentage of sales, of retail sales that were made online has fallen. So, pretty much since the dawn of online shopping back in 2007, every year the direction of travel has been an increasing percentage, whether retail sales have been going up or down, whether it's been a recession or growth year. Either way, the percentage that have been sold online has got up. And for the first time ever in 2022, that is a drop. I don't think that's anything that any online sellers should worry about. I think it's just a rebalancing of that super fast growth in 2020. So the move in the pandemic was to online sales, and then a kind of a leveling back out of mixture of online sales and high street sales with people selling products to retailers who then sell them to consumers. So, for the first time ever, the trend has gone in the opposite direction, and that just shows that if you want to reach the full set of consumers, it isn't just about selling online. There is a big high street presence for consumer products, and obviously if your products are more naturally business to business, then those businesses are buying over the phone, by email, etc. as well. I think it's easy to believe it's all online, and it's amazing how much of today's economy is actually not online and not going through websites. And really where this is happening, successful brands who are already doing both are seeing a rapid growth in B2B sales, and we'll talk about where some of that is coming from in a second. But I think there's also a really common trend. If you're starting a business, or you started a business a few years ago, in some ways the easiest way to do it nowadays and to get started is to go direct to consumer, get your brand established, get some customers, be successful, and get some customer loyalty. The next question is, how do we scale that up? Well, obviously you can scale it up by getting more people to your website and doing more direct marketing. But actually, direct marketing to consumers is pretty expensive. Whether it be sort of TV adverts or pay-per-click or whatever, it can be pretty expensive, and you just can't reach everybody that way. That previous slide shows that only 30% of consumers buy that way. So the real way to get scale into your business is to then take the success and the reputation you've built up in direct sales, and then take your products that you've been manufacturing and now manufacture them at greater scale, and put them through some kind of B2B distribution channel. So that could be, just a classic resale to another layer of wholesale and distributor, perhaps an overseas distributor, or a wholesaler that's selling to other retailers, or any other B2B route to get to your customer base. And for a lot of companies who are trying to scale up from a successful direct to consumer, it's actually easier to achieve scale through B2B with lower investment than to just pile on the investment in the direct to consumer. And part of what's feeding into that trend is the internationalization of both direct to consumer and B2B businesses. Customers, whether they be consumers, and end buyers, consumer individuals, or businesses who are buying product, customers nowadays really don't care where the product is coming from. They're looking for good products that are interesting, that fit their need, and that are a good price. And they don't really care where it was manufactured. In some niche industries, people care where it came from. But in the bulk of industries, in the bulk of sectors, people really don't care. And the barriers to international selling have come down. Now, I mean, there are some challenges today in terms of the cost of shipping and the fuel cost and things like that. But even those costs are significantly outweighed by the ease of selling overseas, either by selling to a B2B distributor who are happy to buy overseas products and sell them locally, or if you want to sort of go a little bit more direct with your B2B internationally, the advent of 3PL, third-party logistics companies, who will take away all the grief of sort of stocking, shipping, etc., have really reduced the cost of going international. You don't have to set up your own warehouse in 100 countries around the world to be able to sell around the world nowadays. And it's even possible to get 3PLs or other solutions to larger physical products. So even if you've got a big product that needs installing, that there are routes to getting 3PLs to stock those products, ship them to site, and then you kind of organize an installer or something like that. The third trend, is always there. This perhaps has never changed and just accelerates, but competition, is a big factor in every route to market. And it does seem that in modern B2B, there's a lot more competition than there was before. Certainly Amazon plays a big factor in that. Amazon, eBay, and some of the other marketplaces, and I know that some of our customers sell to Amazon and find that a good route to grow their business, and others have more of a hate relationship with Amazon and see them as competitive. Whether you love or hate them, that they are here to stay, and you've got to factor those things in terms of the competitive landscape. But I think the other thing, so those are the kind of big players. The other thing that's true nowadays is that those lower barriers to entry that I talked about means that it's much easier for smaller competitors to start up. They don't need the investment in warehouses and distribution mechanisms that they might have needed in the past. You can start small and sell all over the world at a pretty small price. So we've got more competition at the top. We've got more competition from smaller sellers. And the internationalization also means that, in any one market, there just are lots more products, lots more brands, and lots more sellers who are bringing products in internationally and selling them. So, that more internationalization, growing number of businesses adopting B2B and different sales channels just means that there's a growing competition in every market. So what does all of that mean? And what do we do about some of those trends and some of those challenges? I mean, ultimately, success in business is always about keep moving, and staying ahead. But some of these things, are constants in business that we have to get right. And the number one is obviously to devise a clear B2B strategy. I think that the number one failure that we see of direct-to-consumer brands moving into B2B is thinking that it's all about the product. So in direct-to-consumer, it can be all about the product. And and we've all seen brands that have got subpar products just leverage their brand. But B2B does require different things. So differentiation is important in every route to market. You have to differentiate yourself, otherwise why would anybody buy from you? And when you talk about direct to consumer, that differentiation is typically in the product you sell when you're a small business. It can be about the service. So, Amazon with next day delivery, that was perhaps one of their biggest differentiators. The volume of products that were available on Amazon is another differentiator for them. For you, it might be the actual physical product. But when it comes to B2B, you've just got to ask yourself all of those same differentiation questions, but from a completely different angle. What makes you appealing to a consumer, direct consumer customer, is going to be completely different to what makes you successful in a B2B. So if you're going B2B to somebody who's going to resell your product on, then it's not why do they want your product, why is your product good? It is how are they going to make money reselling your product? What is it going to add to them? How are they going to add value? How are they going to be successful in this distribution chain? And how do you help them to be successful? And that involves some innovation, both in terms of the product, but actually about the service as well. So if you've got a product and somebody else has got a product, and you're both after that B2B distribution channel, yeah, I think that B2B distribution channel is going to weigh up the quality of the product. Is your product better than theirs? But they're also going to say, how is this supplier going to help me to be successful? Are they going to bring me business? Are they going to supply me with collateral? Are they going to help me promote the product? Are they going to make it easy for me to buy it, stock it, and ship it? Are they going to help me brand it? If they're rebranding it and you're white labeling it, those kind of things. And obviously in every strategy nowadays, we probably wouldn't be on this call if you didn't believe this, but tech and automation to ensure that you can do all of that repeatedly at scale and at an efficient way, so that you're not pricing yourself out of the market. So a couple of very specific tips for growing a wholesale business. So number one, going back to that strategy, is sort of product to market strategy. It's the classic who, why, what, who's going to buy from me? Why are they going to buy from me? And last of all, what are they going to buy? If you start with what have I got? If you've already got a product, then that's where you got to kind of start. But the important questions are, who am I going to sell to, and why would they care? Why would they buy my product? Why are they going to put effort and money and their own reputation into my product? And one of the things, in B2B is that everybody in a B2B chain needs to be able to add value. They need to be able to do something that adds value. So simply reselling a product is not adding value. That's actually just adding cost. So you've got to look for people who are going to add value to your supply chain, and you've got to ask yourself, how do I add value to them? We're looking for relationships that might, for instance, include product bundling. That would be a clear value add that doesn't exist if you're not both partaking in it. So if you can bundle to use a really simple example, if you can bundle your teas with somebody else's coffees, or you can bundle your cups with their coffee, or you can bundle your cushions with their sofa, those kind of things add more value than simply, I'll sell you the product and you sell it on in, and there's not a lot of value there. There's some value if they're internationalizing it, if they're delivering it in different markets, but look, for greater value increase allows everybody in the whole chain to take a greater share and to be more successful. Marketing for scale, it's one thing having a strategy and being able to be successful. The real question is can you then scale that? Can you do that a lot? And can you grow your business? So you need to have a clear ICP, a clear ideal customer profile, and you need to know that you can go and find more of them. Not just one B2B customer, but a whole bunch of B2B customers, or at least through that B2B customer, a whole bunch of end customers that you can target together. How are you going to find them? How are you going to engage them? And then probably the thing that I spend most of my time thinking about, and I think a lot of my customers don't spend enough time thinking about, is maximizing customer lifetime value. Everybody thinks about marketing. That's the kind of glory end of business growth. Doing some flashy marketing campaign, producing some great advert, beautiful looking website, some great collateral, campaigns. That's kind of the fun stuff of growing. But once you've landed that customer, the hard job, but the really valuable job, is how long can you keep them for? And how much can you grow the business you're doing with each of those customers? So how long can you keep them for, and how much can you upsell them? That's the real profit driver in your business. If you're just bringing in loads of customers and then losing them just as quickly, you're spending a lot of time and effort going nowhere. And interestingly, while the sequence they're laid out on the screen is the kind of obvious kind of logical thought process you go through, in terms of sequence of perfecting these things, it's actually number one, get a product and market strategy that you think is going to work, and then don't go off and market heavily and spend loads of money on marketing and expansion and scale. Almost certainly you can find one or two or three or a handful or 20 or 30 customers in any given route to market, just through the people you already know, the relationships you've already got, the opportunities that came your way, and you'll get your kind of initial customers without doing any expensive marketing. The really critical thing is to make sure that you can be successful with those relationships before you then scale it up. If you can't be successful because you don't have the processes in place, you don't have the you don't have the terminology that resonates with those customers, you don't have your logistics in place, you can't manufacture the product the right way, you can't label it the right way, you can't talk to those customers the right way, you can't support them in the right time zone, you don't know how to upsell them. If those things are not in place and you just spend money on marketing, you're either going to waste that money at best. At worst, that money is going to be successfully spent and you've just scaled up all of those problems, because now you're failing to label the product for 100 customers instead of 20. You're now failing to service 100 customers instead of 20. You're now failing to retain 100 customers instead of 20. Like, you're just scaling the problem. So the sequence is get a strategy, prove that with some customers, and be successful with some B2B customers. Because if that doesn't work, you might need to go back and change your strategy, or at least optimize your customer success plan. And then once 1 and 2 are working, then go for the scale, and you'll be much more successful. And I think that's a big downfall. Everybody wants to rush to scale, and we can all see the attraction of that. But taking it a little bit slower and getting it right step by step is a more surefire route to success. And this is probably the simplest slide and simplest formula that anybody has ever done in business. But I like to keep taking customers back to this, that you don't grow a business just by getting more customers. You grow a business by getting more customers and maximizing and increasing the lifetime value for each of those customers you get. So if you're going to get 100 customers and they're all going to spend $10 with you, that's only $1,000. That's rubbish. But if you can get 100 customers and then you can get them to spend $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 over time, that's when you're really scaling your business and being successful. So if that's what we're after doing, the next question is kind of, how does Prospect CRM and Katana together help you to do that? Well, I know that not everybody is kind of coming at this from direct to consumer and then adopting B2B, but I know a lot of do, and that's and that's how a lot of people get into B2B. And it's also where a lot of people fall down. I think if you start in B2B, some of the things I'm going to say are really obvious. But if you're today doing predominantly direct to consumer sales, you'll have some kind of basic setup like this. Your customers are coming to you on Shopify or any other, Shopify is just representative there of a direct consumer website. They're buying, registering on there. You're probably using something like MailChimp, but again, that's just illustrative of some kind of email marketing and remarketing solution to retarget those customers and try and get them to come back and buy again. And the orders go from Shopify or whatever your platform is into Katana. You make the product, you ship it out of Katana, and then QuickBooks or Xero, again, QuickBooks just illustrative there, are then doing your accounts for you. And that's, I know it's more complex than that, but that's broadly the setup that you've got. The question then is, like, when you start doing B2B, there's a whole load of things that aren't handled there. You can do some sales reporting out of your Katana, some out of your Shopify, some out of your QuickBooks, some in spreadsheets. You could do some account management by just looking up the customer in Katana, seeing what they bought before, looking in Shopify at what they're buying. But that's not going to give you a full suite of account management activity and the kind of data that you need for account management. Interestingly, in MailChimp and Shopify, you will have certainly got some kind of customer segmentation, but I guarantee it's not the right kind of segmentation for B2B growth. And what you're missing in all of this really is the kind of upsell, cross-sell, and retention, where there are well-proven strategies for B2B upsell, cross-sell, and retention that don't come out in any of these systems, because these systems are geared up to direct to consumer, where you don't want to invest heavily in the relationship. If you're selling coffee to a consumer, each consumer is spending $100 a year, $200 a year, $300 a year. That is a relationship worth having because it's low cost and good margin, but it's not the kind of relationship where you're going to put real effort into building relationships, calling the customer, answering all their questions, educating them about your products, those kind of things. And to be successful in B2B, to have really strong B2B relationships, that is the sort of thing you need to do. So effectively, the Prospect CRM just sort of joins this structure. It joins through integration with Katana, and that's something that our technical team have built in partnership with Mark's technical team. And we've really collaborated to make that a two-way integration, so that all of the stuff that's in Katana about any existing B2B, your orders, your products, your customers, all automatically in your CRM. You're not rekeying them. And then as you build relationships using the CRM, do some B2B marketing through the segmentation, build those relationships. You'll now be taking some B2B orders online. You'll be taking some over the phone, some by email. Maybe customers are buying their regular products every week through your e-commerce store, but then your sales team are reaching out to get them to take samples of new products or upsells or whatever it might be. And those orders are flowing through the CRM, and your orders are now coming from lots of different places. All of that is feeding into Katana. Katana's managing the shipment, and then the data flows to QuickBooks for your accounts. And obviously, probably I wouldn't doing ourselves a good service, and I wouldn't be showing you everything if I didn't show you what it looked like. This is one of the dashboards in the CRM, and you look at this, and it'll probably look like a lot of CRM systems that you've seen. There's a dashboard, there's a menu on the left-hand side, there's a search at the top, and there's a and you can find customers opportunities and track pipelines and things like that. And to that extent, Prospect CRM is just another CRM system. Customers, opportunities, customer issues, notes, conversations, timelines, seeing what they're doing, what they're not doing, that kind of thing. But it's really the integration with Katana that separates Prospect from the other CRMs. And if I just kind of touch on that for a second, and just emphasize the scale of the problem, if you're looking to try and find a CRM system, this is G2 crowd who G2 just list CRM and help people find different CRM systems and all sorts of products. This is their map of CRM systems, and we're somewhere on the right hand side in the middle. It's a little P in a circle if you can find it. I don't know whether everybody here is familiar with Where's Wally, but where's Wally? He's in there somewhere. But yeah, the number of CRM systems you could look at is pretty huge. So what sets Prospect apart is that we do not sell to everybody. In fact, we will only sell to people who sell physical products and who are either doing B2B or have an ambition to do B2B. And because the integrations will only sell to people who've got one of the ERP or manufacturing systems that we integrate with. Obviously, Katana being the best of those. And if you look on G2 Crowd at sort of the industries, not that we say we sell into, but that these are the self-declared industries of the people who are giving reviews on G2. If you look at Pipedrive, Salesforce, some of the others you've heard of, the top one is always computer software, information technology, marketing and advertising, financial services, effectively service businesses, people selling services. Our customers are all in physical products, so mechanical and industrial and engineering products, wholesale products, retail products, packaging and freight delivery, not actually doing the freight delivery, but doing the packaging products. We seem to have a lot of customers who make packaging for other wholesale and distributors, health, fitness and wellness products. So everybody's selling physical products, B2B. And that integration with Katana means that obviously, like every CRM system, we can tell you what notes you put in the, when you spoke to this customer last week and you typed some notes in, we can tell you what those notes are. We can regurgitate that back to you. When you saved an email into the system, we can show you the email that you saved. That's pretty basic stuff that you expect in every CRM. But by the direct connection that we've got with Katana, we can also analyze the sales by customer. So you can go to a customer record and you can see, are their sales going up? Are their sales going down? What are the products they're buying? What are the products they're not buying? By value, by frequency. That kind of analysis that means that when I speak to my B2B customer, I can say, oh, you buy a lot of coffee from us, but you don't buy very much tea. Would you like me to send you more information on our teas? Why don't you sell teas? Can I help you to sell tea in your coffee shop so that you can service your customers better and increase your sales volume, thereby increasing my sales volume, of course. And then it sort of taking that step back from individual customers to look at the broader picture. RFM, if you've never heard of RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary analysis, go and Google it, or at the end, I'll give you a link to a blog post I wrote that explains all about it. But RFM is just a way of analyzing B2B customers, wholesale distribution customers, by recency, frequency, and monetary value. And it allows you to identify your kind of champions that you should be really heavily engaging with, your potential loyalists where you've got good growth potential, and then at the kind of the other end, the ones who need attention, are about to sleep, at risk of churning, those kind of things. And there's a whole science behind how you communicate differently with these different audiences, target them with different kind of promotions to maximize your kind of B2B sales. Other couple of things. We actually analyze the buying pattern of all your B2B customers automatically, and we'll tell you customers that we think literally automatically through some AI stuff. we'll surface to you any customers we think are at risk of churning. So people who used to buy regularly and are now buying less regularly, or people who bought regularly and maybe there's a gap, and there may be nothing wrong. Maybe you just need to ring them and remind them to place their order, or it could be that they're currently trialing somebody else's product. And the sooner you jump in there, the better. Without going into too much detail, Magic Matrix, another kind of classic tool for B2B. So this is not so much about retention. This is all about upsell. So this, you kind of group your products by category, by Magic Matrix category, and then it analyzes which customers are buying which group of products and not buying related groups of products. And then it goes a little bit further through the kind of CRM functionality to allow you to sort of start to identify which ones you've told about those products. If you haven't even told them through some marketing activity, let's tell them about those products. And then which of those customers have you got active upsell opportunities with, and which ones do you need to engage with? Where are you going to get the upsell wins and that kind of thing? And really help you to maximize that lifetime value by reducing the churn, so you're keeping the customers for longer, and maximizing the cross sell so that each customer is worth more. And again, if you do all of that, then that's where you're going to get your business growth from. Okay, so I need to give it a quick plug. If you are interested in those things, really the best way to find out about it is that you can take a free trial. Obviously, you can find the button on our website. The key thing there is in the free trial, you can connect it to your Katana data, and you can see all the analysis I've just been talking about, the churn analysis, the customer sales analysis, the Magic Matrix, all of that you'll see in the free trial with your customers analyzed using your Katana data. And you'll, even if you don't sign up for the product, during that free trial, you get some useful insights that you can take forward. Okay, so Mark, I think we're hopefully ready for questions.
Yeah, no, that was terrific, Andy. Thank you so much. It's like close in view there. I was like leaning in onto the presentation there. Hopefully you can edit that out afterwards. Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple of questions here. I guess first question is, do you offer training for new customers for Prospect CRM?
Yeah, we do. It is a cloud product. You know, we work hard at making it easy to learn and easy to adopt, and you can set it up all on your own. But definitely, customers who get the most value and get up and running the quickest take some sort of training and setup help from us. And we've got a range of product packages to cover that. Probably the most important thing I'll say is that in that, obviously, you get help with the product in terms of learning the product and understanding it. But those things that I talked about, the RFM, the Magic Matrix, it also includes the kind of, if you need it, if you're interested in it, some specific training on how to implement those things. So we have what is called a growth playbook, which is literally a step-by-step guide to, implementing some of those growth strategies in your business. Not just using the software, but getting value from it.
Okay, I guess that leads to a really good follow-up question. Like, how long does it take? So, I'm kind of interested. This seemingly makes a lot of sense from a business.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting right from the beginning, if you obviously setting up a free trial takes minutes, but if you then connect it to your Katana, and depending on how much history you've got in Katana, it can take 10 or 20 minutes, or it could take a few hours to process all of that data and get set up. Once it's processed all the historical data, it kind of keeps up to date all the time. So you don't get a kind of constant 3-hour lag every time it catches up. Once it's up to date, it will keep up to date. But after that, you've got a CRM system that is set up. It's got your customers in it. It's got your products in it. It's got your orders in it. It's got your analysis in it. In theory, you're kind of good to go. But the full setup to adopt all the functionality and get your team on board and stuff, we like to think that we can get that done in 30 days, and we can. Some customers do it in less. It's typically somewhere between 30 and 60 days.
Cool. Then just looking here, Yeah, so I guess a replatforming question. So if you're using a different CRM system right now, how does that work in terms of, I guess, again, part of implementing Prospect?
Yeah, sure. So because we pick up all the existing customer information and product information from Katana, there isn't a massive need to do a data migration, but it's fairly common for that you might, as well as having your customer database in Katana, you might then have a marketing list in your CRM and maybe some other data in there. And for the basic import of marketing data and things, obviously you could just do that using the standard importing tool. If you've got more complex historic data that you want to import, then our team can engage with you and help do that. That's a pretty common requirement.
Cool. And then this was the last one of the pre-questions, just going through it right now, the pricing. So obviously everyone's always interested, like, how much is this going to cost me, right? So yeah, I guess where does it start? Kind of where does it typically land? Yeah.
So it is a free trial, but it is not free forever.
Yes. Just like this.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody's got their kind of common package, but actually, like, as is so common, 95% of customers will take our professional package, professional subscription, which is sort of 45 pounds sterling a month per user. So pretty competitive with the I should be able to tell you what that is in dollars. I'm really shooting myself for not having looked that up, but what does 45 pounds translate to in dollars? It's $55 or something like that.
Something like that. I'm Canadian, so it's like $70, but yeah.
Yeah. And we have Australian dollars and New Zealand dollars as well. So and you can buy in euros. You can buy from us in euros, dollars, pounds, Australian dollars.
A whole lot.
Yeah. Choose your currency. It's fine.
Cool. I'll give everyone else just maybe 10 seconds. I see, I think Geraldine is typing a quick question in right now. But yeah, no, this was fantastic. Some great like advice and tidbits, especially in terms of like really thinking about your B2B strategy separate, and taking it slow. Like, I think that's something that a lot of, it's really hard, especially when you're, entrepreneur and trying to build fast and maybe taking the same approach as you did before. Good question. Well, the trial will work. Yeah. Do you want to answer it?
Yeah. So it will work with any Katana subscription. So this was a question that actually our team asked of your team when we had one of our engagement sessions, wasn't it?
Yep.
So on the Katana price list, there is something about APIs in one of the subscriptions, but that's for you to build custom API things with, for the kind of the standard approved integrations like ours. And it's not just ours; it's some of the other products that you work with, Mark. All of those products work with the range, or at least most of them do. Ours does work with the range of the Katana subscriptions.
Good question. Yeah, I was going to say the focus on kind of the customer side, the customer service side. I don't know, that really got me too, in terms of like thinking through your B2B strategy and making sure that you've got that set up proper before looking to scale. So it's like a separate playbook, separate approach.
And not every SME can afford to have completely different staff managing the B2B and the B2C, but I would definitely encourage the team to really think hard about the different relationships and what your B2B customers value differently.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I think this timing is pretty good here. I know you had a couple last slides too.
Yeah, I've got literally one last slide to finish with. So I did say that I rushed through the fastest explanation of what RFM segmentation is and how you can use it, but we've got a whole page on RFM. Obviously, some of this relates to our product, but actually, even if you're not ready for a new CRM system, you can learn a lot about RFM. It's not our strategy. It is a well understood and well used strategy, I think, generally amongst bigger businesses, but who spend a lot of time thinking hard about their B2B strategies. But so RFM is a great strategy, whether you're interested in our CRM or not. I would encourage you to go and learn more about RFM. And probably something we didn't talk about today, but if you're in B2B and you're doing quoting and ordering through a sales team, optimizing the way that works, not just for efficiency, but also so your customers get a good buying experience, they get good quotations. Buying from you is easy. I mean, it's amazing how many businesses make it hard to place an order. Make it easy for customers to place the order, understand what they're buying, and we've got another kind of whole load of data information on doing that at this other link. And I think we'll send these links out afterwards, will we, Mark?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and contact information and the whole thing. So if you got more questions from Andy or the team, we'll make it easy for everyone.
And as I say, if you want to see any of that in action, then take a free trial.
Yeah. No, this is great. No, really appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone for coming out today. Hopefully you enjoyed and took a lot from it. And stay tuned for the next one from our side too.
Thanks for the invite, and thanks for having me, Mark. And thanks everybody who's attended. Thank you.
Thank you so much.